This video is brought to you by Evoto. Evoto is having a Black Friday deal where you can get up to 35% off of annual packages by using the code RyanT. Now let's get to the video. What's going on? Ryan Troy back with another video for you today. And Christmas season is coming around. So what does that mean? Well, for some photographers, that means mini sessions, Christmas sessions, and family portraits in general. But here's the problem with that. A lot of photographers may not have their own studio like I do, or some photographers don't have the money to spend on the expensive backdrops where they can make their work stand out more than the other people in their city. Well, thankfully, Evoto has a nice fix for us, and I will be showing you that. Now, the way I will be showing it to you is by tethering, but don't get discouraged by that because you do not have to tether. It just makes it a little bit easier, and we will talk about that. I want to give a demonstration on how I get the photos and the way I edit the photos so you can have results that look like this. So without further ado, let's go ahead on and jump straight into the session, and you can see exactly the things that I do to achieve those goals. There we go. I love when the snow.
The snow, but I don't want to be in the snow.
Yeah, all right.
I don't want to drive into the snow.
That look good though. I like it. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm blocking it. Hold up. Okay. Let's try this again.
I need to not have my head back so far.
There we go. All right, let's see how these look. I really do like these though. Yeah, hell yeah. So as I said earlier, you don't have to tether in order to pull this off, but I feel it helps me frame the shot better. So the way it works is, however you frame the subject will dictate how they look on the backdrop. And when I tether, it lets me be able to adjust things to make it flow better and look more realistic. Another thing that it helps me do is get the lighting right. When you pay attention to the backdrop, pay attention to how it's lit and try to replicate that same lighting because all of this ties in better. I know it may sound complicated, but believe me, it's really not. Maybe you have light that's coming in from one side and not much on the other. If you're using a 2-light setup, just crank up the intensity on the one on the right and lower the intensity on the left, or just take the light on the left out in general to give that shadow and make it seem like they were really in the scene. Boom. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
I like that. I really like that. I like the chair.
Oh, wow.
I think the chair like really puts you in it because it's like an actual prop. You know what I mean? I like that. But this is what I want to do though. So we're going to do the same pose, right? But see how your face is lit more on the right side? I'm going to switch that because the light's coming this way. So I'm going to have the light show on this side and more shadow on this side since that's where the shadow is. So let's try that. So remember, same pose. Let's turn this up more and then turn this down some. And let me just experiment with the lighting first. So let's do that. Okay. I'm gonna turn it down a tad bit though. And then turn this down even more. Okay. Again. Boom. Yeah, I like that. I like that better. It's lit on this side and then on that side it's not. Now, another way to make it look more realistic is to retain the shadows. And luckily, Evoto has a way of doing this with their AI retain shadows. So all you would do is click that on, change the amount, as far as how much you want it to be seen. And if you took my advice earlier and you lit the subject the way it looks like it should be lit in the photo or in the background, it's gonna make it so much more realistic, because it's gonna really look like those shadows, like the direction of them is coming from that light area that's lighting the backdrop, like a window or a lamp. So make sure you always preserve your shadows to make it look like she is really, or he is really, or they are really in the background. Now, Evoto is offering 4 backdrops for free. If you want to get those backdrops, just make sure you go to their Instagram and there's a post and you just follow the instructions for that and you could get it. I will have their Instagram linked in the description below. But I also have my own backdrop pack that I am selling. Currently is 50% off, and I will have a link to that in the description as well. But let's go in to talk about how you get these backdrops into Evoto. Let's head to the computer now and I can show you how to do that. Okay, so now that we are in Evoto, we're gonna go ahead on and come over to the background section and drop down the background changer. Now you will see recommended with just a bunch of backdrops that they have already, but you're gonna want to change this over to my backdrops, and you can add up to 100 images with the max being 10 megabytes per image. So we're gonna click this plus button, and once it brings us, or once you navigate to the section that you have your backdrops in, you're just going to select them all, click open, and it will put them here. And now once it's finished, just one click and you can use any of these backdrops that you want to, that goes with it. So that is how you import the backdrops to Evoto. So let's say you didn't take these photos by tethering to Evoto and you took them right on your camera, but you want these backdrops. And let's say you probably use a different program to color grade your photos like Lightroom or Capture One. Well, here's a few things. Evoto makes it extremely easy for you to go ahead on and edit in Evoto from Lightroom and Capture One. It's actually built in just so you can do that. But what I'm gonna do is take you step by step on the process once you get your edited or your color graded photo from your software of choice and you wanna bring it into Evoto. So let's jump on back to the computer and I'll show you exactly how I do that. Okay, so here is the photo that I just brought into Evoto, and I have all of my color graded and everything done how I want it to be. So I'm gonna do just a quick edit before we jump into switching out the backdrop, just so you can see from start to finish. So I have certain things that I just do off rip. One thing is, since she has a nose ring and I do the refinements, it usually blurs this area. So I'll come with this masking tool just to let it know, hey, I don't want you to touch that. Okay, so I'll do that. After that, face shine, pretty much everything else is good. No double chin. A very, very easy person to edit, which is why we work together a lot. Now, since she does have her body showing, we can take care of body blemishes. So you can see it before and after. This is none and up. So real subtle with the way that it works. After that, I like to come to my skin retouching, and this is where I do my even, dodge and burn. And I usually go about there. Always do a sculpting just for the face. Okay. After that, frequency separation. Bring my low down, bring my high up a little bit like that. Perfect. Same thing with body. We're going to go ahead on and do even, dodge and burn about right there. Not too much. Frequency separation. Bring my lows down. Bring my highs up. And that honestly will be enough for that. Then I'm going to come to my eyes like I always do. And I will, I'm at my teeth right now. Let's go to the eyes. Bring the brightness up a little bit and always take the red veins out. It's such a pain to edit, but with this, it makes it extremely easy. Got teeth showing. So we're going to do some teeth whitening, as I always do. We don't want to take it too far, right? You know, make the teeth look like teeth. Now from there, I am satisfied. Now we can move on over to the background. And one of the backdrops I'm going to use is actually the one that Evoto offers for free. Like I said before, just go to their Instagram, look at their posts, and follow the instructions, and they will send you, I believe, 4, and this one is one of the 4. Now, I really like this, and although it looks good, we're going to make it look better. And the main way that we're going to do that is by retaining our shadows. So I'm going to go ahead on and click retain our shadows, and you can see right here, I'm going to flip it off, and then I'm gonna flip it on. And that alone just really made it look like she was actually standing there. And the thing about it is you could play with the amount. So if we bring it all the way down like that, that's pretty much off. And then how much of it do you want on? And honestly, about there to me is good enough. You can also give it a fake shadow. I'm not a fan of this, but you see how that shadow is, and then you got a hard one. Like, no, we're not believing that. Even if we turn that opacity and then we do the blur range, I'm not a fan of that. So regular shadows that we actually made when we took the photo. And that's that. Now, another thing that you can do is you can play with the size of this, right? If you think that you probably made her too big or too small, you can change the size of it. Once you change the size, you can reframe it, bring it horizontally like that, however you want. Or if you want, you can even bring it vertically and then have it like that. All right, let's lower the size down a little bit maybe, and then bring it back to the side. Something like that. And then you could go from how we were before to something like that. The shadow's still there, and it looks very, very believable. If you want to, you can honestly go into Photoshop and add like a little bit more snowflakes that will go onto her, and then bring it out more. This is just a base, and a really good base, right? To go from this in the studio to this right here. And I also want to show you one more thing too, because you don't have to have a studio. If you notice on this photo that's still unedited, I just did a wall and the wood floor, and all I have to do is choose a backdrop, maybe something like this or something like this, and it cuts her out perfectly. Right? So you can tether to make sure you get it right, or you can just bring it in and do it and then play with the size and everything. This isn't even with the shadows that I was telling you about as far as retaining the shadows, right? But you did see how I lit it earlier when I showed you it, how I made sure to light her from this side more in order to keep the way this light is coming in, where this is being the shadow side, right? So like let's go to this photo. This was before I switched it. See, so you see like this is the shadow side and this isn't. Then I switched it, and you'll be able to see the light on her face. Now this is the highlight side and this is the shadow side. So if I go to that same backdrop, which is this one, it should make sense. And notice how it kept the chair and everything, and still I didn't preserve the shadows. So let's retain the shadows, and look at that. Now we got shadows coming this way, which is the way it should be coming, because the light is coming from this side. And I feel like due to that chair being in here, and we know that that chair is in here, it makes it stand out more because we just added something to it. So now this could be something that, looks realistic. Like I said, it's just one click. It's so easy. It goes from this to that with one easy click. So there you have it. And if you think that Christmas photos is the only way that you could benefit from this, let me have you think again. Imagine being at a wedding or a birthday party, and you take a photo of a group of people and instantly put them on a different backdrop. Let's say one that's customizable with the event name. Now that looks truly unique. Think of all the ways you could implement this into your business. Also, make sure you use code RyanT in order to get that 35% off of the Black Friday deals that Evoto has going on. So once again, I am Ryan Troy, and until the next video, peace.